So we have a few more Qbounti questions that we want to get done and knocked out this week. I want to thank everybody who's asked the Qbounti question. If you want to ask your Qbounti question, go to qbounti.com/Niko. So this question was from it's an anonymous person. So it says the DNC clearly favors some candidates over the other, and is biased, or excuse me, they clearly favor some candidates and are biased against others. What can be done about this inequity? Man, talk about a loaded question. All right. But we're going to do our best to answer it. So I think that the DNC is going to be the DNC regardless, right? So I like what Bernie tried to do by changing it from within as far as the Unity Commission is concerned. I do believe there has to be a multi-pronged approach in that regard. I do believe that we made some strides when it comes to the superdelegate system, but let's make no mistake about it. The reason they've loaded the field with candidates this time is because they know that if they go to the second round, the superdelegates will ultimately be able to select the candidate. And once again, the DNC will make history by screwing over their own party and losing because of it. So, and by the way, I want to do a compilation video of literally all of the times that the DNC, it's every decade they've made history by royally screwing over one of the people at one of their own at the convention, or even rigging it against them before the convention. Look at Henry Wallace and Harry Truman as far as that VP convention is concerned. I know there's one in Chicago that I can't think of right now. There is the George McGovern, where even Jimmy Carter even was running interference on George McGovern. Bernie Sanders, obviously, Bernie and Tulsi right now. So like the DNC is what it is. And I think that it should be understood that no matter who we put in power, people are fallible. They are humans. And so the thing about the founding fathers that I find the most interesting, I feel like we can apply this principle when we're talking about our rigged elections, is that for all the faults of the founding fathers, whether they were racist, they were slave owners, they were misogynists, they were, none of them were imperialists. All of them were basically isolationists. But, they all had their faults, right? They were victims of their products of their environment. They made it so that the system could account and correct for their faults, right? So that if you have, and you're going to have fallacious human beings, right? Like I said, you have fallible human beings. So instead of trying to replace, it's like the argument I always make, saying when people say, well, we need to just get another party. You think the Green Party doesn't have any corruption? You think the Libertarian Party doesn't have any corruption? They are able to be corrupted because the system allows for it. So what we need to do is we need to disarm the DNC, because their excuses are always fundraising and all that type of stuff. So you disarm them by lobbying at the state and local levels for publicly funded elections. You disarm them by introducing ballot initiatives for ranked choice voting in every single state, every single municipality, around the country. You disarm them by, of course, dealing with Citizens United, and you, as a citizen, organize and start the movement at the local level to fundamentally change the system. Like, we keep saying we want more parties, but we don't ever ask, well, why hasn't the parties that are here successful? The Green Party's been here. The Libertarian Party has been here. And the Libertarian Party, despite what someone may have you believe, that party is organized. They are. And they still can't make the headway that they need to in order to get into a major federal office. I think if we want to include Rand Paul, but what did Rand Paul have to run as? A Republican. So we have to ask this question, once again, fundamentally changing what the debate stage looks like. Why is it that parties can't? So these are the things that we have to address, and we can't start addressing them when it's election time. We have to address them. I'm speaking from personal experience here. I started the DNC fraud lawsuit. Do you think I waited until after Bernie lost? After I figured out they cheated successfully to introduce it? No, we knew that the cheating was wrong, irrespective of whether or not Bernie won or lost, because if they did it to him, they can do it to somebody else, and we are seeing it right now. Right? So we have to disarm them. We have to take away the tools that they've been able to use, so that even if we have quote unquote bad people, or bad actors in power at the DNC, it won't matter, because you can do what you can try to, but I've already changed my laws in my state, so that won't work. I've already it's like that pattern that you've noticed where, funny enough, if it was a caucus state in an open primary, who won? Bernie, dominantly. If it was a closed primary state, use voting machines that could easily be rigged, or they could easily use fraction magic, Hillary won. Or at least, it was a way closer race. So I don't think that's a coincidence. That's the system. Because yeah, you can rig the message for so long. You can rig the election against somebody as far as messaging and things like that are concerned. And yeah, it is what it is. You can only do so much about that. But what you cannot do, in my humble opinion, is you can't, if you have, especially in today's world, in the information age, if you have a candidate that's on the ground hitting it, as evidence is today, Tulsi is at 6% in New Hampshire now, and according to the recent Emerson poll. And I mean, it fluctuates from 4, 5, 6%. The only place she does not get above 2%, the only polls are DNC approved polls. What a surprise, right? Why do you think that is? Because she's on the ground. And so once you're doing well on the ground, and you for some reason that doesn't translate to votes, why is that? If it doesn't translate to votes, it's usually because the system allows the votes to fall into somebody else's category, like we saw with Tim Canova. Right or wrong? So if you want to fix the DNC, you can't talk about fixing the DNC. You have to talk about fixing the system that allows the DNC to operate the way that they do. And I know for some people, believe it or not, it means you have to get up off your ass, and you can't wait for a savior. But I feel like we're long past that point anyway. So I hope that you do it. Go figure out how to initiate ballot initiatives in your state. Figure out how to get ranked choice voting in your state. That's a good place to start, and take it from there. That being said, ladies and gentlemen, thank you all so much for tuning into this live stream segment of Mikasa Sukasa. If you have a Qbounti question that you'd like me to answer, you can go to Qbounti.com, Qbounti.com, and I will do a video response for your question if I feel like it, if it's a good question. But you can also, you can actually put more, like if you like somebody's question and it's controversial and you want me to answer it, you can actually add money to the question. It's a fun game. So go to Qbounti.com and you might get your video response. All that said, always remember, more than anything else, find your balance. Peace. Hey, don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you like that segment of Mikasa Sukasa. Also, you can help us upgrade the studio and take this show on the road to cover the on-the-ground politics that you love by clicking on that GoFundMe link in the description and donating literally anything. Anything helps. Also, you can follow us on Rockfin, on Twitter, and on Facebook as well. And hey, more than anything else, people, always remember, find your balance. Peace.